You receive a package at home from your favorite store, which was delivered to the wrong address. You find on the label it is an item you've always wanted but couldn't afford. Do you send it back or keep it? All right. So let's start off with Lord Vegan. If you want to say something, just raise your hand. But I know last time you said not. Veronica, what would you do?
So I have actually received packages that were not intended for me. And I think it was a situation where it was someone who lived at the house previously, and there was no forwarding address. So I called the company and I told them about it, and you know, to see what they wanted to do, and company, I think they told me to just keep it, and that they
Oh,
that
wow.
but if they would have wanted me to send it back, then um, they should send me a label so I could do so. So it's not coming out of my money, but so I believe in, and it's happened a couple times where I've accidentally gotten twice an order that I ordered. So, or something extra, and I always call and leave it up to them what they would like for me to do.
Excellent. Thanks.
I'm not going to keep it without them saying, "Oh, don't worry about it. Just keep it."
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd send it back. But I want a label for that.
Thanks, Veronica. Then we have DJ Subtle. Megaphone is yours. Feel free to speak or pass. No? Okay, I need to see who's next because you guys are really just cramming in the couch. DJ Smooth. Okay. 1 second.
Unless you want to come move a little bit more
Yeah,
forward.
we don't bite very hard. DJ Smooth.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I think in this situation, I'd probably return the sender or like contact whoever sent it or whatever, and let them know that that I got that package. When I think about that, especially think about the holidays and the time that we're in right now. Like imagine just getting a PlayStation 5 at your front door and you didn't even order it. Like I know a lot of people, a lot of people would want to keep that. I probably would be tempted at certain points, but at the same time, with that, you'd have to be ethical because karma, it's a what. So yeah, I'd probably go ahead and send that one back.
Great, thank you. Rebel Rain. Feel free to speak or pass. I just got to go through this list. Right. Rebel Rain? No? Okay. Let's go to Fake Ravens. Welcome and hello. Go for it.
Hi.
And we lost you. Okay, wait. Just see if you can... Megaphone will be yours now.
There we go. Sorry, not used to that. So when I look at this, I got, two inner demons hitting at me, and one of them is, my inner nihilist saying, well, it was sent to you, right? There can't be possibly so much distraught within within the intended recipient if it's like an expensive item, because that means they were able to afford it. And so if I take my inner nihilist and I say, okay, shirk all, the karmic cycle, if you will, or shirk the societal responsibility, I don't have to deal with it. It's mine, right? Like maybe I could even say that it was meant for it to come to me, some cosmic reason, right? And then the other half of me says, well, what's the golden rule, boys and girls? It's that, do unto others as you would want to do unto yourself. And so if I, was to lose something expensive, right, I would be upset in the same fashion. So if I was to steal that, I would be making the same error. And so if I was like in a situation where it was an item I always wanted but could never afford, I would probably lean, like 60% nihilist, 40% what's the word? Um can't remember the word. Anyway, to the extent I would want to give it back. But if it was in a situation where it was something personal, like that I still wanted, like I don't know.
Oh, we lost you again. The megaphone is yours again. Sorry, Fake Ravens.
Yep. So if it was something like personal, like a very nice picture frame I wanted, right? I would probably send it back because that may have more sentimental value, So like it's a balance, and it's dependent on the context of what the item is, right? Because I could want something for a totally materialistic reason, or I could want something for a sentimental reason. Same with the recipient, If it's a PS5, I want a PS5, but also, what if that PS5 is going to a kid with cancer? And that's going to be the last toy to play with,
Yeah.
That's less materialistic,
That's so true. All right. Yeah, you just never know who that was meant for.
Mm.
Was Warren all yours?
So a couple things here. Like first of all, like the gentleman over there was talking about karma. Karma, I don't know. That's a fascinating subject matter. I like to think about that. I honestly think it doesn't exist. Like there's no data that could prove that there's some weird karma that exists in there's some weird God controlling karma. I don't believe that. I mean, if you piss somebody off and then they tell other people, then is that considered karma? I don't know. But if you think that some mystical God is going to hurt you for doing bad things, that is not true. There's evil people out there. There's nuts. They get away with everything. So I don't believe in karma unless you get caught or they're invading your privacy. The second thing that was fascinating about it is like it depends on what the package is. If the package gets shipped to my house and it's full of like dilithium crystals or like who knows what, like it's going to be important, and maybe I'd keep it, maybe I wouldn't. I have to really think about that. I'd have to think about that. By the end of the day, you always would give it back. They will find you if you have to have really a low IQ, a very low IQ, if you think that they can't track it and know the truck and know they dropped it off. Like you got to give it back. Thank you.
That cracked me up. My water went all over the laptop. Fuck, that was funny. Thanks,
Thank
Warren. You made my night. Dilithium crystals. Jeez. Let's go to Lemon Tech. Let's see. Welcome. Hello.
Hello. Came in late, but yeah, for me, I wouldn't even know what's in the package because I wouldn't open it. I happen to live in a society that's built off of trust of its citizens. And so the reason it works is because precisely that is that people sort of know to do what's right. The same thing with the pandemic. Like we don't have to have these arguments over masks. People sort of know how to take care of and do the right thing. So yeah, in essence, obviously, since the address would probably be written on the package, if it's close by, then I'd drive it over. But otherwise, return to sender would be the correct move to do. And yeah, just a comment on the karma thing. It's more of it's not even a matter of principle. It's basic logic. It's like the decisions that we make define the world that we live in. So if you want to live in a world where people don't return packages, then it's okay to sort of stick by that principle. But if you want to live in a world that's based off of honesty and trust, then you sort of, in essence, would want to logically comply with that. That's all my...
Thanks, Lemon Tech.
That's my 2 cents.
Thank you. That was more than 2 cents. Mr. Think, sorry to interrupt your... What is it called? Rock, paper, scissors. Megaphone is yours.
Thank you for that. I think we're experiencing sound problems again.
Oh my word, it happens every time. All right, thank you very much.
Oh.
Thank you very much, Lemon Tech. That was more than 2 cents. Mr. Think, sorry for interrupting your rock, paper, scissors.
Yes,
Off you
hello.
go.
Right. I personally don't really have a strong opinion on this, and I don't have a favorite shop as such. But if let's say if I was sent something very personal or like something that was meant to go to my neighbor, I would most likely end up probably just giving it to them. It doesn't matter what it is worth; it's not mine, sort of thing. So I just end up handing it over. I don't really have a strong opinion on this one.
Okay. Then we have Snezzles. Snezzles. Megaphone is yours.
Hello?
Hi.
Yeah, pretty quick one for me. It's just save everyone the hassle. I'll just say I have it, call up whatever company and let them do what they do with it.
All right. Fustigator. Fustigator, and megaphone is yours. Feel free to speak or pass.
Hi. Well, I don't think this is a dilemma, actually. I think there's no question about giving it back. There's somebody's going to suffer. There's no such thing as a victimless crime, and keeping it is not the right thing to do. Somebody's going to suffer in the end, and it's not mine. So just pass it on.
Great. Thank you.
Pass it back to where it came from.
Okay. Next we have Doppelganger Dr. Sam. Let's just try to find him. Scott, megaphone is yours.
Through the various circumstances, I've been living in apartments for quite some time now, so this actually happens to me like all the time. So if it's addressed within the complex, I always just re-deliver it to like wherever it goes. Someone mentioned the PlayStation 5. My PlayStation 3 just like died recently, so if it was a PlayStation 5, I might like be like, oh, I really would love to keep that, but I would totally just take it to whatever address that was listed on the label. I would hate to have to be the person on the other end trying to explain to whatever company like the package never arrived. Like that kind of stress like just kills me. So I wouldn't want to think that I was the cause of somebody else going through that.
Okay. Dr. Sam. Just 1 second. Thanks, Scott.
Timon, just before I move on, Warren brought up a very interesting topic in the first question, where he said companies that are unscrupulous and treat their personnel badly, they should be treated badly. And I think that is an excellent topic for a moral dilemma in a couple of weeks' time. I mean, that is a very deep down moral dilemma that we should explore, because we've seen the exploitation throughout the world, and even worse, child exploitation in China with Nike and the tackies manufacturers, the shoe manufacturers. So this is a moral dilemma that we should, sport shoes, we should discuss. But let's come back to this topic. Well, all of them, yeah.
Cocoa.
So that's an excellent one. Let's just come back to this. So I have to agree with, I mean, everybody took the moral high ground. I mean, Lemontek, Sneasels, Fustigator, Scott, everybody took the moral high ground. And I think that is the right approach. But then I read here, it says, you find on the label, it is an item you always wanted, but you couldn't afford. And I thought to myself, if that item could save my life, for example, it was a laptop, which means that I could stay at home and work and generate an income and feed my family, I think I would take the moral low ground and try and keep it. And it's only under those circumstances where I was in desperate need would I go against my moral and ethical thinking. And I just want to share with the group that I had this dilemma, this situation when my wife and myself moved into our new home 15 years ago, our house garden was barren, and we took a lot of our savings and we went to a garden place and we ordered plants. And 2 weeks later, the plants hadn't arrived, and we called and we had paid up front, and we said, "Where are our plants?" And they said, "No, we've already delivered them to you." And investigation of where these plants went to actually went to our next door neighbor, who is also coincidentally, name is Sam. So the driver got confused. Our next door neighbor obviously didn't take the moral high ground, took all our plants and actually planted them. And the nursery where we bought our plants made it my problem and said, "Sorry, we delivered to a Sam, and we wash our hands clean of this." So that was a terrible situation for me, which taught me that maybe you should give something back. But yeah, that's it, T. Thank you, Timon,
awesome.
and Ali. Thank you.
That's fine.
Good
Lord
topic.
Vegan, you want to say something?
Thank you.
Hands up. I'm just going through the people that haven't spoken. Lord Vegan, you want to say something now? No? All right. So then we have Max Kalehoff.
Timon, have you lost your sound? What's happened?
Yes. Hi. Thank you very much, Dr. Sam. Then we have, so Lord Vegan, we gave you the megaphone because you raised your hand. So I'll give you the megaphone now if you want to speak.
That must have been a mistake. My bad.
Do you want to take a stab, or do you still want to pass?
I'll pass on this round.
Oh, well, it's the last round.
I'll be here next time.
All right, great. Thank you
For
very
tonight.
much. Then we have XXGhost508. Megaphone is yours. No? Okay. I don't know why you're raising your hand.
Pass. Okay.
Then we have... Oh, I'm going through guests instead of participation. Stupid. Colostomy. Hey, megaphone is yours.
Hey.
I'm
going to have to disagree with the analogy that the gentleman who was just speaking gave about the laptop being, something that he would keep, and he would take the moral low ground. I don't really see that as being something that's life-saving. Or now, had he said that somehow they sent the incorrect medication to his house, and it was a cancer medication that was thousands of dollars that he couldn't afford, then I can probably see that. I can probably understand that and fathom that as, an area where you might want to take the moral low ground, so to speak. But as a general rule, looking at the question that's posed here on the screen, I would have to say that it's never okay to accept something that was sent to you in error, no matter what it was, with the exception of something that would be, literally life-saving. Anything other than that, I would say that you would have to send it back. And actually, there was a case of that here in the United States, where a gentleman received I believe it was like a 70-inch Samsung TV in error. And then it was found out, I guess the individuals who it was supposed to be sent to went through the same process that the gentleman who was just speaking went through. They tracked it down, realized that they sent it to the wrong house. And actually, the authorities came to his house. They gave him the opportunity to return it and give it back. He didn't. And then eventually the cops got involved, and he was compelled forcefully to return the item. So in summation, just to look at the question that you have up here, again, I would have to reiterate that it's never okay to keep an item sent to you incorrectly unless it's literally life-saving. But that's my 2 cents.
All right, awesome. And then Anyone wants to raise their hand? I saw a fake. Ali, get back over here. It's your turn.
Sorry about that.
Just amplify your voice, Ali. And then raise your hands for when we open the table so that we can discuss based on what others had to say. So Ali, you want to tell us what you would do?
Can you hear me? Yeah, okay, I see you can.
Yeah.
Well, I'll stick around here for now. Coming back to what Warren said earlier, if they had sent me dilithium crystals, I'll definitely take the thought into consideration of keeping them. Anything else, I'll probably send it back. And yeah, that's what I would do.
And on
I
a
think
more serious note,
immoral to keep it. I would definitely send it back because I do order things online and I know it can get extremely frustrating when you're waiting for a package and you don't receive it. And I wouldn't want to be in the position that somebody else has kept my product instead. So I would definitely send it back.
Great. Thank you. So now...
What about you?
Oh,
Let's hear
yes,
your opinion.
About me, I forgot. So I think... let me just try to think. I've been doing all this moderating that I forgot what the question was. There are always going to be ramifications.
The package.
Oh yes, the package. All right. So what would I do if I received a package that wasn't supposed to go to me and the label was there and it was a very expensive item that I've always wanted? Well, the thing is, there are going to be ramifications. The first thing is, if you take the package, you could be stealing that item. And because it's based on probably a company that is so used to all of this, they will track you, they will monitor you, they will find you, and they will kill you. I mean, they will send you to jail or make you
exactly
pay a fine. So you might end up like, first thing, I weigh up the probabilities, and that's always what you got to do. So you've got this package that's not yours, and you don't know what the consequences will be. You could end up actually paying a fine. You could be going to jail. You could be demoralized in front of the public because the neighbor who was supposed to receive the package didn't get it, and he heard that his neighbor got the package, opened it, used it, and the audacity, and then posted all over the internet and then screws up your own name. It could go into the news, or because you decided to be an infamous douchebag for the week. Then we bring back to what someone said. I never remember these names, but someone said karma. And karma is something I love talking about because if you look at it, it's Sanskrit for action, and it means the result of a person's actions as well as the actions themselves or the consequences. So what basically that's saying is karma definitely exists because it's frickin' common nature. You do something bad, and the probability is that bad will get back to you. You do something good, and the probability that good will get back to you. Not spiritual or religion or any other reason, common nature. Then Lemon Tech said something which was very enlightening, and that was the trust of the citizens, where we as citizens and us as humans, we partake in an operation that moves and flows on an everyday basis. So by working together, we will get that system flowing as it should, rather than disrupting the system. Then Sam said if he really needed the order, he would probably use it. And I give you an example. So I had something delivered to me outside my door, and it was a food order, and it was left outside. And the first thing I thought about is, who is delivering this food? And then I'm thinking, wow, it might be an enemy that's poisoned it. It might be someone else that's poisoned it. And also, I wouldn't try the food anyway because I don't know where it's coming from and I don't know whose it is. So instead of, look, there was no label or anything, but I just left it outside and I was like, listen, if these guys need their food, they can fetch it. But what if, like Sam said, what if I'm starving and I couldn't afford the food? then what would I do? Well, then I would eat the food, because then I would say, as an answer, to say that I thought someone delivered it to me as a sign of an act of kindness, for example. You don't actually know. So,
unless if it was poison.
Unless it was poison. But listen, if I'm starving, you would take advantage.
Much risk.
But going back to this moral dilemma, it's an item you've always wanted but couldn't afford. I would definitely send it back, or I would phone them and say, listen, wrong purchase because of the probabilities are against me. And also it's the moral thing to do. Table is now...
And let's not forget, everything is tracked as well. So it's easy for them to track you.
They will
If
kill
it's
you.
an expensive package, they can track you, especially if you signed for it.
All right.
But that's another story.
So tables opened and fake ravens.
I just first of all, I just want to say the word I forgot was virtuism. I just want to mention that. But to expand on what Lemon Tech and you expanded on, to give some context, it was actually way back when. You've probably learned this or a form of it in your high school history class, but there was a philosophical showdown between two theories, right? You can take, and these two theories are like, on one side, whereas people are a virtue, people want to do good. Nobody wakes up and wants to run the world. And the other is people are chaos. People do what they wish, right? And so you can look at these two theories if you want to take from Locke, Jefferson, or on the other side, Hobbes or Machiavelli, or let me better say Machiavelli's writings, not his actual beliefs. You can take the two schools of thought and kind of combine them, right? Everyone does what's right if it's in their best interest, right? And so, like what Lemon Tech said is, we're in a civilization. We're in to make the cheesy reference, we live in society. We disrupt this flow of the civility and the virtue by doing a malact as such. And so we not only when we do this, right, we are a statistic. We are, in this neighborhood packages are stolen this many times. It's not good. And so what that leads is not only an effect on the other person, but you decrease the faith in that system, which may be a flawed system, I'll admit. I have other ideas on that, but they're not as relevant at the moment. But when you decrease faith in this system, you only hurt yourself. And you can consider that some sort of societal karma. But when you decrease faith, what happens is, say, you steal a package and your neighborhood becomes a bad neighborhood. One of those, like how the boroughs used to be in New York. You don't go to those. You decrease that faith, and because of this, you have this what people have called this elite panic. Right? This statistic leads to a percentage of people being, assumed on, right? Like, oh, if you stole a package, you raised the statistic, you made someone higher up be able to look at you non-objectively and say, this is a bad place, this is a bad neighborhood, put you down and make assumptions on that do not benefit you. Say, for example, there was this something I just listened to. It was a podcast, and they were talking about how it was this poverty-stricken area where this wealthy businessman had set up a supermarket, and in the supermarket there was plenty of people in, and it was very unsafe. It was very harshly built. Like, there was no safety precautions. There was grills and all that haven't been cleaned, and so what happened was, of course, it caught on fire, and because of the area, the person in charge of it decided, no, nobody's leaving without paying. Everyone has to pay for their groceries, and so he barred the doors. He looked at the environment. He looked at the people within it. He saw this malaction that happens in a minority of people, assumed it to the whole people, and killed about, I think it was like he killed 100 and something and injured 300 because he was in power, and it just, you lead to a statistic, and that statistic hurts you more than it can hurt the other recipient.
Awesome. Thanks, Fake Raven. Yeah, definitely. Probabilities and statistics are, you got to weigh up what will benefit you and what won't. The megaphone is gone to was Warren.
All right. Well, I love that. I love that. Lemon. You actually made me think about something. Like the idea where we all want to live in a good society, and the golden rule, live by the golden rule, treat others as you want to be treated. Obviously, that's like in every religion, everything since the beginning of time. It's some weird little formula that it's created. And I sort of get to a point where I think about that and I go, you can't just be walking around society like a hippie. I love me. I love everybody and I trust everybody. They're going to kill you. They're going to rob you. They're going to steal from you. You're going to lose everything. You can't trust people. Humans are generally good people, but I would say 80-90% are in self-interest mode. You have two different groups. One group who are key decision makers who have gained wealth by creating gizmos, gadgets. They add value to society. They make lots of money, and they want to keep things stable. And then you've got a bunch of poor people that are poor from the system that want to disrupt the system. So you got rich people that want to stabilize things, peace and love, don't fight. Let's give everybody VR. Let's give them free money. Let's give them VR at the same time Xbox comes out. Let's do a virus, give them a bunch of free money. When VR comes out, let's give them a bunch of. It's just like a weird way. Stabilize people, keep them happy, keep them stable, calm. And then you got the poor people that can barely survive, get food. They can't. Their wife divorced him because he's not making enough money and thinks he's a loser. When it's not his fault, it's the system's fault and the economy. So you got all these divorces and all these bad things that are happening in the world. So you got a bunch of poor people fighting these rich people that want to stabilize it, and the poor people want to be disruptors. You can't be walking around like a hippie. You gotta walk around as if this guy's gonna fuck me or screw me over. I can't trust. You gotta have that. If you don't have that mentality, this world will eat you alive like a shark. You will be eaten in the ocean like a bunch of fish will tear you apart. So you gotta be aware of that. Another thing that was fascinating is my gentleman over here, Cosme Bag. Like, at the end of the day, if something gets sent to your house, you go, by no means necessary, I will never take it. And I think you're missing out variables. You're missing out many things. What if the guy's a drug dealer, meth dealer, and he's buying a bunch of chemistry sets that gets sent to your house? What if he's some crazy racist or whatever he could be? There's always something. You can't never say I would never do it because there's always something. All right, thank you guys. Awesome. I would love to talk to you afterwards, Tim. Thanks, guys. Thank you, Tim, and thank you, Ali, for putting.